am the fire. I am burning brighter, roaring like a storm. And I am the one. Phoenix Gate fans, how you doing? How you been? So sorry we have once again done another long absence. But COVID. That's all I'm gonna say is COVID. It's hard to actually do what you need to do when we're still in a global panini. So there you go. But it's your girl Jade Feinics here, coming to you from a different nest. I'm actually not at the nest tonight. I am with the lovely Choco.
Hello, hello. We're at the Choco's nest.
We're at the Chocobo nest. Yes, we are at the Chocobo nest. You can hear in the background how our significant others have playing all sorts of video games because we're having a video game night as well.
Yes.
And we have a special guest. We have a very special guest. A completely brand new voice on the gate. It is Tony the Boston photographer. Hello. Yay. I'm sorry, it's Boston. I had to laugh at you.
I'm used to it. I am so used to that.
There you go. But yes, so he is joining us. We are going to be talking, because we're just going to dive right into it. And I'm not even explaining why we've been absent for so long, but I am going to do a small blurb. We did, Choco and I, film the very first inaugural episode of My Tea Sense today. Mm-hmm. We did. You can find that on YouTube. We are putting it on our YouTube channel. It's going to be quite interesting once I'm done editing it. Hopefully it works because we had so many.
I think we did it like 3 times.
4. We did it 4 times because my equipment just said, ha, screw you. So also keep in mind, all things associated with the Phoenix Gate podcast are rated R. So if you have children, probably not. Probably not for you.
Oh, thank God I can swear.
Oh, go ahead. Go off.
Just let them out at the moment.
Dude, I have a trash mouth. You're good. You're fine. So, on that note, we're going to jump right into it. It's episode 56, actually, believe it or not. We're at 56. We're almost at 100, sort of. We're getting there, slowly but surely. You'd think after all this time that I would be closer to 100, but I take a lot of breaks. I take a lot of breaks.
I mean, it was warranted with COVID too, so.
Yeah, so. But what about you? How do we find you on your socials? Tell me. How do we find you?
I'm Chocobo Butt on everything. Literally everything. Just go to like any site. You go to like Neopets, Chocobo Butt. No. Actually, yes, though.
I love it.
No, Twitch, Twitter, OnlyFans, Instagram, Facebook. I don't know why I had an accent when I said that, but everything is at Chocobo Butt. And if you go to the TikTok, you can see some 3D printing there too. So that's the only like not cosplay thing right now.
And what about you, Tony, the Boston photographer?
You can find me at Lazaro Studios on Facebook, Instagram. If anybody is also a huge Resident Evil fan, I run a site with my friends called the Residents of Evil or Row Network. We cover a lot of things Resident Evil related, horror related on there. We do Let's Plays. There you go. I love it. That's great. We do a lot of those cool gameplays. We play like Resident Evil Outbreak. We're gonna be playing like The Forest at one point.
Wow.
You know.
Are you excited for the new one?
No.
No.
No. It's not my bag. Like first person horror games are cool, but without the VR aspect, I feel it's just like you could have just gone back to third person.
I don't disagree with you.
It just like, I mean, the rest of the gang is excited about it, you know, like the rest of the gang is and stuff, but I'm just like, no. But if it's good, I'll be happy because I don't want them to stop making games. I just want them to think about the future. If you're not gonna, because VR, like Wii motion controls, it's all a gimmick. Yeah. They don't really properly utilize it like they should. The Wii did have obviously some good motion control games and stuff, but you know, at the end of the day,
the Wii motion stuff was better if you were doing like the weight loss games and style like that, but it's not really for gameplay.
Yeah.
Cough, Skyward Sword.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've raged about that.
Oh, yes.
So there you go.
You get to suffer all over again.
I
with the
think
new
Tony
release.
just wants to see Ethan like actually in third person get stepped on by Lady Drimiski. Like,
I want her to step on me. What are you kidding?
I mean, and what is she like? They said that she's canonly like 9 feet tall or something.
8 feet tall.
Yeah, that's
I'm okay. I like tall girls. So
like step on me.
that's just an 8 foot tall woman who hasn't eaten yet.
That's me when I haven't eaten yet. But cool. So if you haven't checked out Tony's photography, I highly recommend you do so because it is chef's kiss. I've seen Choco's work from, where'd you go, Anime Boston?
It was PAX East.
It's PAX
the
East.
last
There you
PAX East before
The panini.
the panini.
So, yeah, I mean, oh my God, can you imagine looking back on it now, you sit there and you're like, oh my God, that was the last time I was physically at a convention or physically doing anything, which is exactly what we're here to talk about today. Because New York City is trying to reopen fully, completely. Oh my God. I don't. Thoughts?
I mean, that's pretty similar to my thoughts.
I mean, they did just announce. So they announced. Okay, because I have notes. They did announce that Reed Pop is actually the only one besides Long Island Tropicon that has announced that they are doing in-person conventions for the first time since the Panini happened. So New York City Comic Con has been released as October 7th through the 10th at the Javits. They are also having their Florida SuperCon, which is down in Miami, from September 10th through the 12th. They are doing C2E2, which is one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's a big one, December 10th through the 12th, and Emerald City, which is also
That's very big.
It's
That's
very
huge.
big, especially considering they already said that they are not having San Diego Comic-Con this year.
It's like virtual, right?
It's virtual.
Yeah.
They're still doing San Diego Comic-Con virtual.
I mean, I feel like before we even get into it, we have to do a disclaimer on Reed Pop itself has always been very
Money-oriented.
money oriented. So I'm not surprised that they're like the first one to really do this to begin with. It's Reed Pop.
Agreed. I mean, and they were hit really, really hard with the Panini. But then again, all conventions were hit really hard with
All
the
the
Panini.
smaller ones and everything like that too.
Some smaller ones will not be able to come back at all.
And those are the ones you actually really want to go to.
Exactly.
A lot of times, like it's good to go to the big ones, like Anime New York and New York Comic Con. But
That's been announced, though. Anime NYC is coming back. They have announced dates. They've actually announced guests, some of which I'm going, yes!
Yeah.
For
It's my favorite.
the November 19th through the 21st, they are doing that. What's coming closer, though, and then there was a big thing that I want to mention before we really get into this topic, is the fact that Colossal Con, which is happening the first weekend in
It's
June.
still happening, right?
They are the first ones. Even Katsu this year, which I had tickets for, I had a hotel room the whole night.
Yeah, they
Same.
canceled.
They said, no, we're waiting. And
they got money.
They got money.
They can
Yeah.
wait.
They can wait. And the convention center actually even said, yeah, we're waiting. Because 90% of the times it's not the con, it's the
Yeah.
convention
Yeah.
center itself.
I'm sure the Gaylord is not missing having that convention for another year.
All those orgies that they clean up of, they don't want to deal with that. They're happy not
Just
to see
the
us.
mess alone that con makes at that
God,
poor
yeah.
hotel.
Quite literally. But no, my whole thing is Colossal Con itself, I think they were hoping to be virtual for another year, but the Kalahari said, no, we're having this. You're doing this or you lose the contract and then we sue you for breach of contract.
And this is the
Colossal Con East.
Okay. The
Yeah.
one in the
Ohio.
Poconos. Yeah.
I went to that before. It was,
No, it's the
it was
one in
good.
Ohio.
No. That's Colossal Con. That's Colossal Con Prime.
Yeah.
Colossal Con East is in the Poconos.
In PA.
Oh, no, this one's the one that's in Ohio that I'm
Oh,
talking
okay.
about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, but it's still a Kalahari resort.
Yeah.
Yep. They
Yeah.
both use them. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the hotel itself was like, and then here's the other thing. If you had tickets that rolled over from last year, your hotel room didn't. And a lot of my friends that had tickets that were going to that, I have quite a few friends through TikTok and Discord and all that, cosplayer friends, and they were freaking out, losing
Yeah,
their
it's
minds
a very
about
expensive convention too.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not. It's probably one of the most expensive ones.
That was literally what my friend said to me when she found out that it was actually happening. You know, but it's one of those things where I just sit there and I go, but why? But why though? Especially because Ohio is not exactly the greatest with their spike rate right now. So, whatever. But this brings me to Choco, you're a cosplayer like me. Tony, you're a photographer. Your bread and butter is conventions, yes?
Yeah.
And
Well, for the most part, yeah.
For the most part, yeah. But like most photographers that I know deal with a lot more cosplayers than they do actual traditional work anymore.
Yeah, I'm all around. I do whatever comes my way and
Right.
stuff. But generally, yeah, I'm known for the photography for cosplay.
Right. So when the panini did happen and you had to stop traveling to the different conventions, how bad was it for you?
I mean, I resorted to selling myself on the street. OnlyFans didn't work out as much as I would have liked it to, but no.
Thought I saw your advertisements.
It's a nice butt, I think. No, it hurt. Like, you know, I mean, like, I also get paid to take care of my dad, so I didn't take it as hard as hit as other photographers did, but, like, Boston's not a cheap place to live.
No.
Or anything. And, you know, I was really, like, freaking out because I was like, cons are like a huge thing. And plus, not even just like cons, but like regular people too were too afraid to go out because nobody knew what this pandemic was. Like, you know, they were all like sealing themselves off. So from like...
It's not like we were given a choice.
Yeah. So after I did PAX East and PAX South, those were the only cons I did in 2020. And I didn't shoot anything from then until about late July or August when we started to know. So I took a hard hit.
Yeah.
It was rough because I was worried about like food and, you know, getting our bills paid because, like, you know, my dad, even for his retirement and everything, like, he doesn't get that much. So it's just like, you know, like we were doing what we could to get by.
Right.
And it was tough. And I was just like, man, like, I really hope people start, like, coming to me for shoots again.
Yeah.
You know? And I eventually I did. Like, when people, like, we could do distance and all that stuff, you know, so.
The nicer weather permitted us to do a lot more
Yeah.
things. It was the winter time that killed a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like us as cosplayers, I'm not going out in some of my outfits in the freaking rain or in the winter, in the snow. Like, we live in the Northeast. It's not fucking happening. Sorry. You know, and you, I'm not going to have you, like, you wouldn't go out and risk your equipment.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
No, I've actually done snow shoots and everything. Like, I wrap up the cameras and everything like that, and I'll head outside with people.
I think I just fell in love with you, dude.
Now that's something I don't hear every day.
So there you go.
No,
But-
it's true. Like I like, you know, for me as a photographer, I do everything I can for my clients. Like if they need a motorcycle, I'll find them a motorcycle. If they need a prop, I'll find them a prop. You know, and you know.
Yeah.
Choco, like we've done so many shoots together and everything. Like
Yeah, no,
Oh, yeah.
Tony's like one of the best. I love
I
him.
will do whatever I can for my clients. And like I said, if that means going out and shooting in a snowstorm and stuff like that, I'll do it. Like I just did a Destiny shoot when our last snowfall and everything. A friend came up from Connecticut and she was like, "Can we shoot this in the snow?" And I'm like, "Sure, I can do it." No
Yeah,
problem.
maybe it's just because I don't like snow that I won't.
Oh,
do
trust
it.
me, I hate snow too. But you know, money's money. Everything.
Cannot fault. There is no shame in that game, bro. Nah. So, but like even for us though,
Yeah.
like if it wasn't for TikTok, I swear to God, I would probably have gone even more insane than I actually already am. So,
Valid.
you know, because TikTok allowed me to still cosplay.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is it actually allowed me to do non-canon cosplay, which is great.
Yeah.
Like most of the stuff that I do on my TikTok now is all original characters,
Yeah.
which is fun. I have some canon. I debuted my Tinkerbell there that never got a chance to debut at any of the cons because everything's been gone. So there's that Tinkerbell, and then there's my Midnight, who, you know, somebody spoiled the freaking manga for me. I was so angry.
Stab them.
I was so mad. So mad. But yeah, so that's great. And now with cons coming back, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of like, you know, well, I think the rational people are like, I don't know, but all the people that have like been caved in their house longer, they're just like, we need to go. It's the only thing we have in our life.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not something that I want to do. I do. I
Yeah.
really do. But what I'm worried about is the guidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guidelines are going to, they're already saying especially Repop is already saying that they are going to severely limit tickets for New York City Comic Con. And that was already a bitch to get tickets to begin with. So it's like,
Fucking scalpers.
Yep.
test your bite, fight, you know, like this is coming. So there was that. Our Anime NYC tickets actually did roll over from last year, though, so we don't have to worry about that. So, yes, there's that. FlameCon, which is another good one. That is.
Oh, I love FlameCon.
It is on the books. It's coming, according to the website that I was on, it said August 21st to the 22nd. So they're only doing 2 days.
Okay. See, I'm so torn on like the small ones coming back because I want the small ones to come back, and they are like, to me, they're usually the better cons. It's just a lot of these smaller cons have smaller venues, so it's harder, I feel like, to do the guidelines in the small venues.
Agreed.
So I'm like torn because I'm like, I want them to come back. I know they need it
also,
more than like Reed Pop does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at least Reed Pop has the bigger venue, so you can spread out.
And the Javits has finally finished construction.
Wow.
Really?
It did.
Did it really?
It's done. That's part of the other reason why they're pushing for it.
Oh, they got to pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Pay for it.
Yeah, they got to make up. They got to
That
make up
makes
for that.
sense
Yeah.
now.
But that whole part that they were doing over the past couple of years is done. Yep. It's finally finished. But the problem is the Javits was, during the Panini, a hospital.
Yep. And now it's
And
vaccine.
now it's a vaccine center. So how the hell are you going to have it ready for conventions again?
They're not.
See, I feel
don't
like
think
if it
so.
was like, I feel like a 6-month time span would be probably better. But if they're starting, because they're going to have until October is going to be the first event there, right?
I believe so.
and-
I didn't check the actual Javits website. I only checked Reed Pop's.
Yeah, and we don't know when they're going to stop doing the vaccine. So already we're like closing in on that time limit. That would be like a sufficient time to clean it thoroughly and not have had anyone, coming in to ruin the disinfection.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then the other problem is also DeBozo will not. I hate De Blasio.
He is.
And
He is a bozo.
He's the worst. He's
I'm from Boston. Like, he's an asshole.
yeah, he knows. Like this. So basically, a lot of the other things that I found is that New York is doing very well on vaccinations. They are. They are. 36% of New York City residents over the age of 18 are fully vaccinated in New York right now.
That's pretty high.
That's a
Yeah.
decent rate considering how limited it was before.
Yeah.
With the availability of the vaccine. 52% have had at least one of the doses so far. So more than half of New York City's population has been inoculated. Maybe not fully, but they have been starting the process. So that's really good. And we are only going into May. May 1st is Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't complain about that,
Yeah.
which is great. And the CDC has loosened guidelines for people that have their vaccinations with the masks. So if you are vaccinated, you don't have to wear your mask.
I still would.
I mean, I'm Avi, but either, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But then here's the other thing that bothers me is that they want to open up everything by July 1st.
That's just too soon.
That's only like,
2 months away.
yeah.
I don't think we're ready. I don't think that the city, with all the problems that we've been having with all the riots, everything that's going on, all the social unrest that's going on right now, the cops, everything, we're not ready. We are not ready.
Plus, you got to keep in mind, there are still people coming in and out of state.
Yep.
Because they're just, these are numbers on New York City. You got to keep in mind there's Long Island you got to factor in. There's Connecticut. There's Pennsylvania. There's New Jersey. There's the whole tri-state
The
area.
tri-state area alone, yeah.
And further coming in and out. So it's like, how are you
Pennsylvania, you have North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida.
Yeah. So like that.
Those assholes from Boston.
Assholes from Boston.
So you have to keep that in mind too. So it's like when you're like, oh, we'll open New York Comic Con. It's like, okay, but are you going to limit it then to just New York residents at that point? Because then that's where you're getting those numbers from. So it's like you have to factor in the numbers from other states.
And let's
too.
not even count. If they're opening up everything by July, that means that the tourism.
Yeah.
The tourism is and he was Gabozo even said in his press conference, he was saying, tourists, we want tourists, come back. Yet the meanwhile thing is if you look at it, he said Broadway is not opening until the fall.
Yeah.
It's like one of the biggest tourisms, though.
Exactly. He's according to my notes, it says Broadway is not to fully open until the fall for the bigger productions because it takes longer for them to get back into the groove of things, make sure that the theaters are ready, cleaned, whatever that needs to be done. But he's hoping that the smaller shows can resume by July or August, which would be nice. A lot of the off-Broadway smaller productions, independent productions would be nice to see again. It would be very nice. And I know a lot of my actor friends that are out of work. So they could use that. But how are you going to enforce the guidelines in a crowded Broadway theater when 90% of the time before the panini, you were sitting on top of each other to begin with?
Yeah. And especially when you're doing like multiple shows a day, you don't have enough time to fully clean that.
No.
You can't
Everybody
even
gets
fully
a
clean
Sandy
movie
Cheeks
theater.
bubble over their head. That's what they get. They all get to like a suit and a Sandy Cheeks bubble. And then you just sit there.
I'm sorry. That's how it feels like it's going to be. You know, like we're going to be just shoved in a little cage. But see, then there's the other problem. Does that mean, as you pointed out, there's going to be less shows during the day because they have to fully sanitize, blah, 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 blah.
It plays like what, like 2-3 hours, you know, or whatever.
Depending on the play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, you know, then like you got to like send in a crew to like go at light speed to just spray everything down. And
It's not even possible.
it's
Yeah,
not.
because you're going to have to hire a new set of people to clean the show. And because they haven't been in production, they don't have the money to hire those people to clean properly.
They will be spending more money.
Yeah.
They're going to burn their money.
Yeah,
Is what it is.
especially if they're
not gonna
doing
make
less
any.
shows. Yeah.
Right, yeah. It's going to probably cost more to put on the production for like, you're not making the money back. I mean, we're talking, say we're going to go see The Lion King. The Lion King can go up to, I think, five shows a day.
Yeah.
They do up to maybe more.
Yeah.
And
That's like, yeah, that's a.
that's not enough turnaround time. Then on top of that, you're going to have everybody walking in off the middle of Times Square, and they were sitting on the stairs and just being weird with all the characters that hang out around there. No. It's not feasible. And he also wants to have the subways returned full service completely by
Have they
July
even
1st.
cleaned yet?
Believe it or not, the subways actually did really good on the cleaning,
Okay.
but they've started to go back to their old ways because they no longer have the funding to continue doing it at the rate that they were supposed to. But the way, if you've ever ridden on a New York City subway, there is no fucking way during rush hour that you are social distancing. There's nope. There's no way you're social distancing now. Let's call a spade a spade.
And see, that brings me back to my concern with Reed Pop, because I'm like, just while we're talking on this subject, I'm having like flashbacks of trying to get into New York Comic Con just to get your badge checked.
PTSD.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah, just to get like your badge checked is such a process. And then if you have a bag, it's an added process. So now if they do something like, say you need the vaccination card to enter, that's going to be another added process. You're going to have such a crowd waiting to just get into the convention.
Which they already do.
They do already, but like you're adding a third process now. That's gonna.
Oh no, they're adding more than that, because one of the guidelines that it said on the Reed Pop website that they will be doing temperature checks. They will.
Oh my god.
They will be doing
I
temperature
mean,
checks.
I get why. But
Yeah.
I'm just picturing it in my head. Like it's
Right.
gonna-
Exactly. They
Nerds
will-
ain't got patience for that.
No.
They want to go in there.
No, and then like on top of that, like if you're wearing a super heavy or non-breathable cosplay, you're going to unfortunately have a higher temperature. I sweat. I sweat.
Just makeup alone will raise your temperature, because if you put makeup on and you have powder on it, the powder, what's called baking, is that it like seals in the heat of your skin, and
it's baking you.
Yeah, so
You're
you're
literally a potato that looks pretty.
yeah
Yeah.
Because
I'm a potato.
You're gonna have a higher temperature.
Sorry. I like my sounds.
I like them too.
Yeah, but no, you're absolutely right. So
Yeah.
and then on top of that, DeBozo was very vague about the safety precautions and the guidelines.
A politician being vague?
Shocker.
But
And then like the other thing is too, because and then if we even like break it down to like what happens at a convention, like okay, so once you're in there, how like okay, they have more room now at the Javits Center, so they're gonna have to space the booths more,
yeah, at least 6
Which
feet.
means less booths.
which means less booths because they have a finite space. even though it's a big one, they still have a finite space.
It's true. And then how are you going to run those hallways in the main floor?
Just even, because what I was thinking was just even the autographing. I don't think you can even have autographing at that point.
Social distance photographs.
No, they even said that on the website, that it would be very weird, like, because they're going to be, you're not going to be allowed to shake anyone's hand. You're not going to be allowed to hug them. You're not going to be allowed to high five them.
Yeah.
They're going to be encouraging air high fives and stuff like that. I'm like, but how? If I'm paying $80, $100, $120 to meet certain people and have,
500 sometimes.
I
right?
feel like some of us just alone and shit.
Wasn't Mark Hamill like 200 or something?
I would pay that.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill's the fucking man, and I have paid that. So.
No, but still, if you're paying like $200 for someone, like you want to actually be able to talk to them and not have to scream 6 feet to like have a
I want to
conversation.
actually look like I'm
Yeah.
in the photograph with them.
Yeah.
I don't want to look like,
I was photoshopped like horribly.
yeah, exactly. You know, but they haven't announced how that's going to work yet. And also, here's the other thing. I don't want to have to wear a mask during the photograph. Like, I know
Yeah.
you're going to know it's me, but if I'm in cosplay and I'm wearing a wig,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, older celebrity guests, fine. Understandable. They have a weaker immune system. But if you're Paul Rudd, you're a fucking vampire, you don't need the fucking mask. I don't care. All right?
You just want to
Like,
be next to Paul Rudd, don't you?
And like the thing is
I
too,
did, and I died. It was so good.
Jesus.
the thing is too, like that.
That's how I felt the whole time. I was literally sitting there just going, just dancing next to Paul Rudd, and then I screamed at him to tell me his secret of immortality.
Did he give it to you?
No. He laughed at me.
Aw.
He laughed at me. It was worth it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because I got to be in his space. It was good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And it's like, as much as like we go, like me and you go to conventions for like cosplay stuff reasons, that's not the main seller for conventions. The main, most of the main sellers actually like the autographing.
Yeah.
The photography.
yeah.
The merch.
The merch and autographing are the two top things for any convention. That's why usually some cons like don't focus on cosplay too much.
Which is fine.
It makes sense. I mean, they're in it for money too.
Yeah.
So like to not have a good autographing section, like why
And then
even
if you're
have
gonna
it then
like,
at
and
that
then
point?
the other thing is like now we get to the photography aspect. There are certain areas in certain conventions that are just automatically designated for photography. Correct?
Yeah. Like
Gazebo.
The
the
gazebo.
stupid gazebo. Yeah. In Anime Boston, like people started realizing that in the Javits Center in Boston, there's like 4 corners to the place, and there's like a cylinder thing that you can sit down at. You can sit
I
in
love
the
that
windows.
spot.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know exactly. Yeah. So now those are like, I guess, designated like time slots for people. It's kind of caused a lot of problems, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, like that's the thing. Yeah, it's like you're gonna have like certain areas, and like not everybody's gonna be able to. That's why I always do my shoots outdoors. You know that.
Yeah.
You know, I always go outdoors, like because you don't get to. No one screws with you. No one comes up and tries to like mess with you.
Except for PAX East because it's cold.
Well, yeah, because
Except
it's
well
like,
for me.
yeah, no, I mean it's cold because you're in PAX East, like right in Boston. You're right off the freaking sea.
Yeah, it's like
That
in
ocean
February,
breeze,
so
yeah.
it's very cold.
Yeah, my friend Dee and I and her boyfriend, like we froze when I was shooting her Resident Evil shoot out there because like the wind just came right off into that place, but it was worth it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and even at the Javits Center, everybody always knows that
The window.
the windows are where you go for the big meetups and the big things, and then you have the stairway and that, you know, everybody goes to for certain things and big photo shoots and stuff like that. Then, of course, you have the little areas in front of the big rooms. How are you going to regulate that?
Yeah.
Those places are hard to get through to begin with.
How are you gonna even? You know what I just thought of? How are you gonna regulate anyone getting food at the convention?
They're probably not going to sell any.
Yeah, I always bring food.
No, I know, but they always like they do make money off that. So
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
And, you know, that
$8 for a bottle of water.
yep.
Not even if I was on fire, baby.
like they may not even have the food trucks this
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Which I will riot. I need my ecto cooler.
I don't know. Like I feel that that's still kind of distance enough. I think you could work something.
Unless
out.
everyone's
then-
in the tunnel though.
But
Yeah, that's
everybody
true,
does
yeah.
go to the
Oh,
tunnel.
that's right. 'Cause from New York, yeah, it's a different story than anime New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New York is just like a sea of heads out there.
Yeah, because that's also where they let you in.
Yeah.
That's where they fucking file you in, and you're standing there like cattle ready for the slaughter. And then they're like, doors open, but only one. only one. Then all of you had to go in single file, and if you're stuck next to somebody you don't like, or if they have a smelly, they use deodorant, people. Okay, fucking just and oh my god, that's the other thing. That is the other thing that I've noticed with the panini. Just because you're wearing a mask doesn't mean you don't have to brush your fucking teeth. I can smell you. Okay, I can smell your fucking breath. All right, brush your fucking teeth. God damn it. Hold on, I need an appropriate sound for that. Because that is literally how I feel when somebody like wears the mask and then they take their mask off and I get that.
I could smell what you ate for the past 3 days.
Like, it's bad enough we have to deal with cosplayers that don't wear deodorant. Now we're going to have to deal with cosplayers that don't wear deodorant or mouthwash.
To be fair, I don't think they did that before regardless.
Agreed, but still, if we're gonna have the gremlins coming out of the basement to be in these conventions again, maybe that should be part of their guidelines.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you should just have someone that goes up and, like, sprays them. Like, just get, like, a detector and it's like, all right, spray them.
Like Febreze.
Yeah.
Like, you're a naughty cat.
See, it's...
Some of those weebs might get off on that. Who knows?
Yeah.
They probably do. Oh, it's Bukake. No!
Oh, my God.
No! No!
It's wild out there.
I just like, I just can't picture how like this convention, like certain cons, I could picture how they can social distance. Like when you're comparing two conventions in the same space, where you compare New York Comic Con and Anime NYC,
Same
which
space.
granted I am more biased toward Anime NYC. I do
I
love
am
that
too.
convention more.
So good.
I can see
So
that
good.
one happening much more easier and safer than New York Comic Con because it's a smaller crowd in the same big space. It makes more sense.
It does.
What it really boils down to is there's going to be regulations,
Hope so.
but they're not going to be followed.
Yep.
No.
Think of it like...
When does anyone follow rules?
Yeah, well, like it's kind of like how Rhode Island Comic Con works, right? Rhode Island Comic Con, they were a nobody con for years.
I've always wanted to go, though.
Like, well, it's I mean, it's fun to go to now because they get some of the biggest stars out there. Right?
Yeah, I think I went the first year it opened.
Yeah, like
I was at the first Comic-Con, New York City Comic-Con ever,
Nice.
nice.
when it was nothing the way it was now.
Oh yeah, because it's more commercial now. But that's how Rhode Island
It was
is.
before it was bought by Reed Pop.
Oh, okay. So it was better owned at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Fan Expo bought Boston Comic Con and stuff like that. It was a lot better than it was before. But yeah, so like Rhode Island, they were a nobody con, and then like one year, the guy who runs it, he's friends with a guy that I know that I buy a lot of retro video games off of. He got like the entire cast of Back to the Future. He got like all the original Power Ranger actors. This was like 5-6 years ago. And that was the year that people realized, oh my God, this is a great place to come to and everything. So the following year, it got so big, the fire marshal had to come down every day and shut the place down.
Wow, I heard
remember
about
that.
that.
So like that's kind of a thing that happens. The fire marshal still comes because the last time I was there, they weren't allowing people to come back in. They had to count the people coming out to let them back in because they were breaking all kinds of fire codes. So the problem with that is Anime New York. You think they're going to follow that? No. They're going to grease somebody's palms and everything like that. And
Anime NYC, I mean, it's still fairly new. So, I mean, but it is gaining in popularity. And with the fact that we have been in a Panini and there hasn't been
It might
Anime
even be
NYC,
bigger.
Anime NYC hasn't gone on for
Was it third
2
year?
years.
I think it's either second. It had 2 years or 3 years. I can't remember. I think
Well,
it was
I
three.
remember that I was at Anime NYC. I believe 2019 was the last Anime NYC that I was at.
yeah, that was the last one I was at. And the one before that, it had only been around for, I think, a year or two at that point. So I think it's a
point.
total of 4 so
Right.
far.
So 2020, I think, would have been its 4th year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2017 was its first year.
Okay.
Right, yeah,
'cause I
'cause-
went to 18 and 19, yeah.
Yeah, because I went to 19. It was my first time going, and I
Into all of them.
nice. I always meant to go, but because it was so soon after NYCC, I hadn't recouped funds.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things where it's like, all right, fuck it, I'm not going to go to this one. But then I would always hit WinterCon right after, because that was like the final con of the year, and I got to chill out and relax, and it was, you know, right by my house at the time. I was like, fuck it, whatever. But now I heard that's not coming back.
I'm not surprised.
WinterCon, I heard, is not coming
It was
back.
in a casino,
yeah.
and like there was so many restrictions that you could almost do nothing at the convention to begin with.
Okay.
And it was also very, very small to the point that in half hour you saw everything at the con.
Yeah.
Terrificon's kind of like that in Connecticut.
Yeah, I
So,
heard
like,
Eternal
Mohicans
Con's
and-
not coming back either.
Yeah.
Because they're run by the same people, Eternal Con, Winter Con. But that was also because they are renovating the,
Coliseum.
yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
the Nassau Coliseum. So they're completely redoing it.
Oh, okay.
And that's where they were holding it. And before they had it at the Cradle of Aviation Museum. And I don't think that they want them to come back.
Probably not.
I don't think so. So that's why I don't think they went back there. Tabletop gaming convention, I don't think is coming back. RetroCon.
I liked that one.
That was a good
was
one.
cute.
I don't think that one's coming back. Long Island Tropicon has announced because it was their first year
Yeah.
in 2019, and then like right after the Panini hit, and they couldn't do it again.
I think because they're in, what is it, the Marriott?
They were in the Marriott,
The Marriott.
but now they're going to be in the Sunrise Mall's parking lot.
What?
Yeah. So Long Island Tropicon has actually announced that they are going to be doing, they're going to be doing 4 weekends in the summertime. July 10th and the 11th, the 24th and the 25th, and then August 14th through the 15th and the 28th through the 29th in the parking lot. And it's basically like a farmer's market.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
actually kind of cute.
Yeah. It's going to be
kinda
focused mostly on the vendors. So artists and
Yeah, the people who
thank
got
God,
hit
yeah.
the hard. The
Yeah.
people got hit hardest.
Yes. So I actually applaud them for doing that because also being in a parking lot, you have the ability to
Yes.
do
Pretty
the
so.
social
It's-
distancing.
Yeah, it's open.
Uh-huh, and it's
Everything, so-
outside.
yeah,
So you don't have to worry so much about constant sanitization and being inside with an air filter system that may not have been cleaned since the 1940s. So
That's
I
kinda why,
applaud
yeah.
that. And it also recoups them some of the things that they lost in 2020 by not being able to do it.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of our artist friends are going
It also the 4 weekends, right? 4 weekends.
4 weekends.
That's good because what if you're busy one weekend but you wanted to go? Now you can go.
Yeah.
At least one of the weekends, and it'll be different customers, hopefully, that go. Each weekend, and you have a higher chance of selling stuff.
Right, and then
So-
of course you can coordinate easier
Yeah.
with other people if you wanted to go in cosplay or have your photo taken there
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
go shopping. I applaud them for doing that.
No, that's actually a really good idea.
I agree. That is the only one that I so far have agreed with.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of why I'm more likely to go to a Ren fair than I am a convention at this point.
I hope they
all
bring back
outdoors.
that.
Yeah, because it's outdoors.
I really
yeah.
hope they bring back the New York City Renaissance Fair because, in all honesty, I'll have an excuse to wear a plague mask.
There you go.
Can I be your plague girlfriend?
Hell yeah!
I have one too.
But it's like, my whole thing is this. July 1st, DeBozo wants restaurants, bars, retail stores, small businesses, salons, barbershops, gyms, fitness classes, arenas, stadiums, of course, theaters, and museums with no limits.
See, I feel like half of that list was okay until I think it should have been maybe an extra month for some of those things.
Like they did when they first started opening back up.
Yeah, so the first half of all the smaller things, those can open on the first, and then it's up to the owner to say how many people want to come in if they want. They're allowed to do that. But the stadiums,
But that's the thing. What they're saying is
Yeah.
that is the owner will no longer be allowed to say,
that's
no, I'm at
not,
capacity.
That's not fair to the
That's
owner,
what
though.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is these venues they will have the full 100%
Mm-hmm.
capacity. So there is no excuse if you have a venue like the Javits
Mm-hmm.
that can host over thousands of people, then there's no reason why you cannot have thousands of people
Mm-hmm.
in the Javits. But then that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And it annoys me because he was very sketch on if proof of vaccination was going to be required for anything.
And then you have to, if it is, you have to make sure you have people who know a real and a fake one. Because I've been seeing it all over Facebook how easy it is to fake them.
Yeah, okay, because you have idiots, and I'm not saying you're an idiot for getting vaccinated. You're an idiot for posting up your stupid fucking card.
Bingo.
I got vaccinated, look at my card, and all your fucking information is there.
Even if it's not there, people have such good phones now when they post them and everything like that. It's dude, that's a clear screenshot. People just can Photoshop every little detail. Into
it's
that
not
thing.
hard to do.
Yeah.
One of my friends actually posted up the entire card. All I needed to do if I wanted to make a fake vaccination card from hers is edit out her thumb and change the name.
Yeah,
That was it.
that's it.
I'm just like, bitch. what's wrong with you?
Yeah, no,
You know?
it's a problem, and I warned people about that. I was like, if cons come back and they reinforce how you got a COVID test or whatever, people are gonna be treating it like a fake ID, and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? No, they're not. And I was like,
Yeah,
there's a will, there's a way.
They're already doing it.
Yeah.
They're already doing
Look,
it.
I saw a lot of people during this pandemic crying on social media saying that cons were never coming back, and so many people were giving up cosplay. And look, like, I get it. It's something we've never seen before. Like, I get it. Exactly.
So many lies.
No, that's the thing. They're like, oh, it's not coming back. Like, we don't know how to handle this. And I get it. Like, for a lot of people out there, cons are their lives.
Agreed.
It's all they have, because sometimes a lot of people are socially awkward. It's the only place they can go. I get that, right? But if that's all you have in your life without a backup plan, then you're kind of a doomed human being. Like, I get it. Like, you can't see your friends, like your friends that you talk to online. I get it. But, you got to think smart.
You're asking a lot of the cosplay community.
No,
How dare you?
I know I am. But I'm just like, you're being... Exactly.
How dare you? Like, you're giving a lot of the cosplayers that we all know too much credit.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen them out there, man, like, just crying about it. And I'm just like... Your tears are fake. You're just doing this for clout. You don't fucking care. Like,
It's that Rick and Morty quote. Like, yeah, your boos mean nothing. I've seen what you cheer for.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And
they mean nothing.
And I'm just like, you guys are literally the kind of people that would do anything to get into a convention, even if it meant like illegal things.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, like, as a photographer, I've worked with some real weirdos, like people that are not like there. Like, they're very socially awkward, and like that's not a bad thing. But like the way they act and how they see the world, it's just like, dude, like you don't have a grip on reality, dude.
No.
And I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that.
No, be
like,
rude. This is what we're all about.
Well, like, I mean, like I said, like I mean, like for me, like personally, like I'm just like, you got to think smart, but
Agreed.
you're not, and like you don't think of this generation especially. They think only of themselves and not the people that they affect. One of the reasons why I stopped doing photos for as long as I did was because my dad's 83 years old.
Wow.
And everything. So yeah, like I didn't want to have him get sick from me doing shoots. So like that was another reason why I took a little bit longer to do it, even when they were starting to come up with the rules of like whatever it was. Like they were making up as they went along.
but that's absolutely fine and understandable, because if you're smart about it, there was no reason why you would have gotten sick.
Yeah, I closed down my studio. Like I didn't, because I built a studio in my house. My father wasn't able to walk to go downstairs anymore. I converted one of our bedrooms upstairs into the studio, but I couldn't do studio shoots for people because we didn't know what was going on. But
Which is fair.
Yeah, but with distance and everything like that, like you can still do it.
Yeah. I mean, and even then, like, here's my thing. I have the numbers here of people in New York, ages 18 all the way up to age 85 plus, on how many per capita in New York City. I don't have the state. I have New York City guide, like their numbers. For the age group of 18 through 24, which is a lot of our newer cosplayers, that 33% have at least had one dose, with only 15% of them
That's very low.
being fully vaccinated.
I'm going to assume that's probably one of the lower ones.
It's actually the lowest one. That is the lowest one. Now, keep in mind, these are also the members of the community that are the loudest, the most annoying, and the ones that are the cancel culture aficionados. So these are going to be the ones that have been screaming and yelling about going to the conventions.
Yeah.
But you're dealing with a populace of, as of today, April 29th, 15% have been fully vaccinated.
And this was what, 18 to 24? That's the, depending on the convention, that's a lot of the major age group for a convention. Like, not so much near Comic-Con, but like, say for Anime NYC, that's definitely going to be probably the majority of who goes to that con.
Oh, yeah.
And
But the good thing is, the next couple of age groups, which would be their parents, us,
siblings.
So for the age group of 25 to 35, you have 43% have had at least one dose, 25% are fully vaccinated. But 43% are on their way there.
Yeah, so yeah, if you can add that.
Right. By the time the convention actually rolls around,
Probably going to be almost
it'll
100.
be closer to that. But
Probably
then you
like
have
80
the
or 90.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you have the 35 to 44 age range. 49% have had one dose. 31% are fully vaccinated.
Okay.
It's impressive.
It's almost about the same numbers. Yeah.
Right. And then if you want to keep going, 45 to 54, they have 55% of them have at least one dose.
That's high.
37% have been fully vaccinated. the highest percentage right now, believe it or not, in New York for full vaccinations is the age group of 65 to 74, which you're not really going to get at a convention. That is 60% are fully vaccinated with that, where 70% of the remaining people have already had at least one dose.
I think also we should like factor in that like who has had the longest time to get the vaccine, because they only recently, opened
Released it.
Yeah, for younger ages too. So I mean, maybe in like a month the numbers might look a little bit better. I'm hoping.
Not saying that they're not going to, but I'm saying the target age group, if you want to think about it, is, I would say, from the 54 to the 18 range.
Yeah.
And the 45 to 54 being 55% with the one dose and then 37% with the, the other dose. That obviously is going to change. Then, I'm hoping that with now the more walk-in clinics that they have for the dosing, the more ability to get the actual vaccine, I'm hoping that the 18 to 24 range is going to change, because that is the people that we will be exposed to the most, but at a convention.
Yeah.
18 to 24, 25, 35 to 44. That's the range.
Yeah.
Okay. That's 99% of the people we know, 99% of the people we deal with. That's the range. And right now, my age range, which would be the 35 to 44%, highest rate, 31%, which is fine. We've had more access to it, whatever. But it makes me stop and sit there and go, still too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still too soon. Nope. I don't want it. I don't want it. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm one of those crazy people that's very skeptical of the vaccine anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not vaccinated. I'm not going to be. Not by choice. I physically am unable to get the vaccine right now because I am currently receiving a allergy shot regimen once a week, 4 shots. That's fun. For the next, oh my God, it's so bad. For the next 9 months. Yeah. Yeah. So the doctor, my ENT, suggested I wait because my immune system is getting screwed with right now. My significant other, he cannot get the vaccine because he just beat cancer.
Yeah.
And he has 1 kidney. So his oncologist was like, nope. Yeah. You can't get the vaccine.
That would completely destroy his immune system more than it already is.
Exactly. And he can't get it for at least 2 to 3 years. Okay. I mean,
they'll have to, like...
You can't get it either, can you, Choco?
No. I don't, it looks like I probably can't either.
So we have to rely on herd immunity. Tony, if this is too personal, are you vaccinated?
Not yet. I might, because my father, one of the things, especially if anybody is like living with a veteran like I am, my father is a veteran, and I can actually go to the VA with him and get, I can just go with him and get shot up.
Yeah.
Like they'll do it, no questions asked. If like you're like a family member that lives with them, or if you're a healthcare provider like I am, you can get it.
I could have gotten mine in January.
Yeah. But
being paramedic.
I haven't done it yet because I've seen a lot of things already.
Yeah.
From people getting that shot.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'll get it, but I want more studies to be done.
Agreed.
Because a friend of mine who works with these things and everything has told me some stuff about it, and it's just like, wait, you're saying it's not FDA approved?
It's not.
And I'm thinking stuff. Well, that makes sense because it was fast tracked.
Yeah.
And that's that's the thing. It's just
that's why they're already having so many problems with the Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, but it's only a tiny percentage. That tiny percentage is enough.
Yeah. And my a friend of my father's, he beat cancer a while back.
Good for him.
And yeah, it was they caught it like right in time. And he got the shot. And because the thing was, I guess because it was like throat cancer.
Oh.
But it wasn't a type of cancer that I guess destroyed the immune system or whatever. Like
that
what
was
he had
nice.
to do, yeah, like what he had to do to get the treatment for it. This is dialysis and everything. But the doctor said that like he was fine, like to get the shot because his immune system at this point
could have handled it.
Yeah, and he did. All of a sudden, he's got allergies now. His nose, he can't stop running. He's got allergies.
Well, it's also really bad this year.
Yeah,
car is
but he's never
literally
had
yellow.
allergies before. That's the thing. He's never had allergies.
Not
before.
once.
Never before.
Wow.
And I've known him. He's lived across the street from us for like close to 30 years.
Wow.
Everything. I went to school with his sons. Both of them are Marines and everything. And like, he's never been sick. And now, like, when he got the second dose, he's got this unexplained rash on the back of his leg.
That's one of the extreme side effects, and he needs to go to get that checked like right away.
I've tried to tell him that he won't listen to me.
Of course not.
Older guys are stubborn and stuff, but no, that's the thing. Like I hear these stories, and I'm like, my father wants to take it, which is weird, right? But he's like, look, if there's any side effects in the long term, I'll be dead by then. And I was like, oh, that's morbid, Dad, but you got a point, I guess.
My grandfather's the same way. My grandfather's 91 years old, and he was just like, what's it going to do to me? I'm going to die anyway. And I'm just like, yeah, but can you like not die with a third arm growing out of your head?
I mean, honestly, like, you know, my dad and your grandfather, they come from that era where nothing killed them. They cooked everything with like butter. If they lived past 50, nothing was going to take them out.
Pretty much. I mean, the only problem my grandfather actually has is just high cholesterol.
Yeah,
that's
same with my
bad.
dad. My dad's like thing is like, you know, from the accident that he was in, he just can't walk that well. But his heart, lung, kidney function,
everything's fine.
Yeah, the doctors can't believe it.
Right. My grandfather also had COVID before we even knew that it was COVID.
Well, supposedly many people did.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever did because I never get sick. So
Lucky. But no, I had it in January of last year, and then I had it again in March.
Yeah,
because the two strains. My grandfather could not. This man is one of those people that never gets sick, and when he does get sick, he's better within a day.
Yeah.
He apparently. We didn't find out about this later, and like I went over there because I was caretaking for my grandmother at the time, before she, you know. But I saw him and I was like, Grandpa, why do you have a black and blue on your face? And I'm thinking my grandmother hit him or something, you know, because towards the end she had really bad dementia and all sorts of stuff like that. So she would, you know, lash out and get violent. And I was like, did Grandma hit you again? You know? And he goes, no, it's the weirdest thing. I collapsed. Wait, what? The man who's never had more problems than the high cholesterol collapsed from a fever and couldn't breathe, the whole nine. And he went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, oh, it's the flu. It's the flu. Take this medication, you'll be fine. And he was taking the medicine, and he still felt like shit, and his fever was crazy through the roof. Now, my grandfather, who's never had problems, every time he moves, I hear... Like he pants like a dog now. He, you know, he's kind of out of it sometimes. You know, he's still him. He's still him, but it's also not him.
Yeah.
Just enough where I'm just like, motherfucker. And then he just recently got his second dose. So I'm sitting here waiting to see what else it's going to do.
Yeah.
You know, because my parents also decided to go and get vaccinated. I'm like, good for you. But my friend, who's also a cosplayer, but she's also a virologist, she was like, I'm not getting that shit. I'm like, why? And tell me why, because I agree with you, but tell me why. And she's explained it. She's like, it's not FDA approved. Anything to be FDA approved has to be at least 5 years. And I don't agree with anything that messes with your actual genetic makeup.
Yeah. The thing about this all is, like, you know, I've come into, because like a lot of people were like, stop talking to me because like I wasn't sure about the, like I said I'm not gonna take it. I'm just not sure about it right now. You know,
right.
People like, you know, like if you ain't
so
with
up
them,
in
you're against
arms.
them. Yeah. Like, you know, like you can't have an intelligent conversation with people. Exactly. So like, you know, I had said to him, I was just like, look, like this thing was fast tracked. We don't know what it can do. We have no clue what the repercussions of this. And everyone's like, oh yeah, but you're fine getting flu shots and all your other vaccinations, right?
I don't get flu shots.
Well, I don't either, and everything like that.
Last
because
time I got one, I had fucking pneumonia.
Yeah.
So it's like never again.
Nope.
But what I'm saying is, it's like, you know, they're like, oh, but you get all these ones that we got like when you were a child and all this other stuff. And I was like,
did we have a choice?
Well, we didn't have a choice. But here's the thing: that stuff has been worked on for decades.
Yeah.
This was fast tracked in a couple of months. I'm like, if this is as good as it says it is, what else do we don't like? Where's the cure for cancer? You kill that guy every time they think of it and stuff.
They killed
like
the guy that cured AIDS.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what I'm saying is, like, if they literally fast track this and they're saying it's okay, but they can't do anything else with any other disease that's out there, this isn't like anything we've ever seen before.
No.
So, you know, it's like I tell people, and people ask me, it's like, well, how are you going to do jobs if you're not going to be vaccinated and stuff? I was like, if I go to cons in the future, I'm still staying distant from people. Because I don't know if they got their shots. I mean, maybe I'll ask for their cards or whatever. I mean, I'll still work with them regardless.
Right. Money is money.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Cons, you can go outside. Crazy concept, but you can still go outside and do shoots. Like
And it's called a Zoom feature, people.
Yeah.
You don't need to have the camera right up in your face.
Yeah,
it's
my
not
lens
a
does just
porn.
that. Yeah.
We're not making a porno. We are shooting photography.
We're not making OnlyFans, but whatever.
That's not in the middle of a convention. That's for the hotels later.
I was gonna say, like at the hotels, it is. Believe
That's
me,
the hotels later.
I mean, maybe Katsucon.
Definitely Katsu.
Are
you kidding me? Oh God, Dragon Con.
But that's the thing. Like, I think that people need to stop being sheep. And every time I've said that, they're like, "Oh, you're with them," and I'm exactly. But I'm just like, no. I'm not on the left. I'm not on the right. I'm not as conspiracy nut. I'm a realist.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, you got to understand that there's more going on here than we know. Like, that we don't know. And like, the world can get better. It's just, you just can't follow like blindly. You have to question things. Because if you don't question things, nothing changes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And like with your mayor and governor here in New York, everything they've done, anything, like everybody was on their side at first, even after the whole the elderly thing about the fucking deaths in the homes.
Oh no! He's being brought on charges for that.
Yeah. But that's the thing. When people still knew about that, they didn't care.
Oh,
but now that he's being brought in, now everybody cares. Now everybody realizes he's a piece of shit.
But yet, meanwhile, when it was happening, and we were literally the healthcare workers are sitting there and telling you how many people were actually fucking dying because we were telling people this is going on, this is happening, pay fucking attention.
You were literally on the front lines to witness that. Like, you knew, and nobody listened. But now because
did you know that we had to leave people that died?
I believe it.
That's so sad.
I
do you know that some of those people weren't picked up by coroners until almost a week later?
I also believe that too.
They were left to decay in their homes with their family because nobody would come and get them.
Yep.
We were not allowed to do resuscitation, and if we did, we only had the original COVID guideline was we had 10 to 15 minutes to work on you. That was it.
That's not
normally when we're on a CPR job, we're there for at least 45, hoping to get something, unless it's like a load and go kind of situation. Yeah. We're going to do everything we can to get that pulses back before we bring you into the ER. And then hopefully it continues to stay that way in the ER. But I'm just saying, like, this is what we do. The reality of a situation, we're not going to be on scene for that long. 15 minutes is how long we're supposed to be on scene when we're transporting you during a cardiac event. Not 15 minutes and then I leave you because you're dead.
Yeah.
And I cannot bring you back, even if there is a chance that I could. And I had another 10 minutes. I had another 15 minutes to work on you. I had to leave you.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how hard it is to turn around and tell a family member on a normal basis, I'm sorry, there's nothing else I can do?
Yeah, but at least then you have tried everything,
Right.
And you had time to try everything.
Right.
Yeah, not like, 15 minutes up. We're at a
right.
That's the whole fucked up thing. It's just like there's so much bad shit that happened, but everybody's only focusing on what the media is telling you, and that doesn't matter which media you watch, whether it's CNN, Fox News.
People forgot about the refrigeration trucks where the bodies were piled up.
Yep,
like meat.
I tell people about that, and people are like, "That was never a thing." I was like,
"Yes, it was.
It was never a thing because your news channel didn't want to cover it because it wasn't going to get them views."
No, it was a thing. There were almost every single hospital had refrigerated trucks.
Yep.
In front of them, and they would just put the bodies inside, and you would be stacked on top of each other with a toe tag identifying who you were. That was it.
Yep.
That was the same thing that happened in nursing homes. That is, and to circle back to what you were originally saying, Cuomo deliberately killed, I would say, at least 60%, 70% of the elderly population in the nursing homes because of his guidelines.
Yep.
He did it on purpose.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
He knew.
Like, he's one of those people that just looks at the elderly as, oh, they're old, they're useless to society. We don't need to do anything for them. Like, fortunately, with veteran hospitals, with what I've dealt with for the last 8 years, trying to get my dad the medication he needed to live, like, they looked at me like I was the crazy one. Until we finally got the right doctors who came in and just like, how have you not helped them at all? Like, you've made him worse because you didn't take care of him. And like, that's the thing. Like, they just see the elderly as like, I accused my dad's doctor of treating him as a guinea pig because she just kept giving him the same medication with a different name.
Yeah.
And it actually made him worse.
Yeah.
Everything. And, she can't be brought up on charges because she works for the government.
Of course not. And the worst part about all this is all this happened and everybody's they're like, this is what drives me crazy about this whole Panini and now the fact that the city wants to reopen and everything wants to reopen. The goldfish memory of the people has driven me batshit because literally at this time last year, we were in full motherfucking lockdown.
Yeah.
Yep.
But people forget that. People forget that part.
I think the lockdown lasted like a week.
Our lockdown didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People think that like it was just like, oh, it was just a week. It wasn't that big
No,
of a
it was
deal.
months.
It was months. Like,
Because it was over a year ago. They don't care anymore.
right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't just sit there and have all this thing happen and forget that these are actual things that did happen. And that's my point when it comes to reopening New York. Cool. I'm all for it because the businesses did suffer. The city is suffering. My healthcare workers are burnt the fuck out. We're done. We're done. But here's the thing. Because of that, how the fuck you going to be able to function at full capacity when you have not given the essential workers the time to recover?
Physically, mentally, giving them the proper money.
Yeah, don't even get me started on. That's a whole other fucking show. That's a whole other show.
Well, I mean, like I said, like, you know, they like, you know, like that's like healthcare, because like technically I'm a healthcare worker for my dad.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna get a pay raise for a while. I was like, oh cool, lasted a week.
Yeah.
Everything, and I was just like, oh, well, that's.
Or we are not eligible for any of the stimmies.
But yet, they all have the fucking money to put millions into advertisement, but not enough to pay their medics and, or their
They have
healthcare
millions
workers.
to advertise the shot.
Yep.
Like, do you have any idea what's the big thing now that people call 911 for? Do you have the vaccine?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No. What do you want? Like, you need to go to the hospital? Are you dying? No? Fuck off. Yeah, like... But people forget that you shouldn't call 911 for everything, but they are now. Where before we were getting inundated with calls for COVID and all sorts of other shit. Now we're getting calls for everything else.
Well, I mean, this is, you're in New York City. It's like, you already got a lot of weirdos calling 911 saying it's just like, yeah, my cat is trying to kill me and everything. My cat's trying to kill me and my neighbor's talking to aliens again. And I think they're coming to get me. Can you come get me? It's like, man, this is 911. Have you been stabbed? No, but I think the aliens are going to do it. Well, call us back when they do.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, we actually, because of that, we actually are rolling out a new program, which nobody at my union supports. And all of us think is a fucking joke. But again, that is another cast. So. Final thoughts, everybody. Final thoughts. How do you feel, Choco, about this whole situation?
I'm still like, I don't know, because on the one hand, like I still think it should be maybe like a year still before conventions reopen.
Nah, I think we need another year. Plus,
And
also,
yeah,
we're not ready. Our bodies, so
it's not even like the. Our bodies aren't ready. It's just the mentality is still not ready for it. Like, no one is going to go in. There's going to be, like, a handful of people who, like, listen to everything. And then it's going to be, like, probably 80% that are just like, fuck this, we're in the convention. Who cares? I'm going to take my shirt off and run around and greased up like a pig. And
There are no rules.
I'm not covered at all.
I mean, that's a lot of cosplayers anyway, half the time.
oh
But.
my god,
I don't think I'd ever seen that at a convention personally, but
where they take their shirts off and just run.
Oh, go to a Texas convention and everything like that. You'll see
I was
that
about
crazy
to say,
crap.
like,
Dragon Con.
Dragon Con. Like, I'm positive I've seen people doing Naruto runs in, like, their skivvies.
You could not pay me enough to go to that cesspool of a con.
No, thank you.
I think they're holding off still though.
Dragon
Last I
Con?
heard, yeah.
No, they probably got the money to do so.
No, Dragon Con's holding off for another year.
Yeah.
I know MegaCon, I think, is holding off for another year.
See, there's some, and then there's cons that already happened, and then like people who had gone to those cons, like we had like COVID spikes after those cons.
Huge COVID spikes.
Yes, after each one of those cons that have happened already, and I think that the issue is that people are like, oh, well, if it happens in the summer, like it's less likely because it's hot and like, all this. And it's like, but no, like if you're in, like.
You're indoors.
You're outside, but like if you're indoors, it doesn't matter if it's summer outside.
You're gonna get we suffer from con crud without COVID.
Exactly, and
You
those
could get
places are
con crud-
poorly vented.
Yes.
You could have con crud any time of the year. It's not just like a winter thing.
No.
Yeah.
So you're on you're on team not yet.
I'm on team not yet. Like because I do like work for Nerd Caliber and I go and like do interviews and stuff like that, and I would like to start going back to conventions again.
Yeah,
but
and promoting your 3D printing business.
And it's like I would love to do that. Like if I had a chance tomorrow, I would love to do it, but like I rather wait.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. What about you, Tony?
I'm on the fence. Like, you know, like I would love to go back, and if I do, I'm going to be staying outdoors at all times. All my shoots, I will advertise, need to be outdoors, and if you're not okay with that, then that's fine. It's just, I'm not going inside, which sucks because Kineticons already announced like the original 4 actors for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What?
Yeah.
I'm going to Kineticon.
Yeah, like a lot of my friends are going already and stuff. And,
Damn it.
Yeah, like I would love to meet them and stuff. But
God.
That is a smelly con.
Yeah.
actually, it's been getting better.
Oh, has it?
Oh, because
Okay.
I've been going every year, and it was bad.
I stopped going for a little while, and like when I went, it used to be like there was a lot of people who smelled.
Yeah, it's
No,
different
that's
now.
a con though.
It's a con where you just go to the con just to be with your friends, really. Plus, the guests are really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if people aren't sure about going to cons, here's the best thing you can do, because you can go outside for stuff, right? Go to a park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start a cosplay picnic with friends. Go and hire a photographer. Do shoots. Get everybody involved in stuff.
Central fucking Park.
Exactly. The same thing with like Boston or anywhere. Just find an open park to go to. Just hang out there. Bring food. That way you're out in the open. It's a lot safer and everything. Trade business cards. Hell, bring your shop with you.
Yeah.
Bring small things to advertise. Maybe people want to buy it.
Yeah.
By doing things because cons. Think of what Odin said in Thor Ragnarok. Asgard is not a place; it's people. And cons are wherever you go, and you can do stuff like that. And that way, you're still getting that con experience without spending a I get it. A lot of people go because they want to get drunk and trashed and do all kinds of other debauchery in the rooms and destroy rooms and punch holes in the walls and stuff. I get it, but
Make Danny DeVito shrines.
Exactly. But if you do all these things, then you don't have to stress about what's going on, whether you're vaccinated or not.
Agreed.
You can just be out there. Everybody still gets, because I saw some people always saying I can't cosplay without a con. I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm. TikTok people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, TikTok.
Self-photography.
Yeah.
You have a phone.
Closet cosplay.
Closet cosplay.
That was huge this year.
No, closet cosplay is great. My significant other accidentally closet cosplayed Mario the other day. Motherfucker looked like the Boricua Mario, okay? Like, he walked into my house. He's wearing the red hat. He has the blue slacks
overalls,
on.
yep.
No, not overalls, blue sweatpants. And he had the Mario sweatshirt. And I looked at him, I go, who the fuck are you? Looking like a bootleg motherfucking Mario. What's wrong with you? Like,
I love it.
And so then... Of course, I put that on TikTok, but I had to. It was perfect. And he's doing his Beppe dance, which is, as he's doing it, and it was just hysterical. It was great, but that's an example of an unconscious cosplay, like closet cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how many things? All my original characters, every single one, was created from shit that I already had in my closet.
Go.
The only things that may have been added to them are the wigs. Those I got off Amazon. Thank you, Amazon.
Yeah. See, my thing with the panini has been it's kind of like a modern renaissance.
Yeah.
At the same time, because it's made so many people innovators.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to be innovative in terms of anything, in cosplay, photography, even conventions. You can bring conventions back to how they used to be back in the day. And I only say that because I've been doing it since
we have the opportunity
for so
here,
long.
people.
You can make it, you can make it back how it was in the early 2000s or even earlier when it was really just small gatherings and you had very few people cosplaying and it was really
anybody
fun
at all.
Yeah, and it was very fun and you really did get to make really good friends there. Not that you can't now, but it is a little bit harder because there's so many people.
I've actually made more friends through TikTok and Discord than I have at any convention because, believe it or not, a lot less drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Same thing with Instagram and me this last year. I have met so many wonderful people that I want to work with in the future. I mean, some of them live in Delaware, North Carolina, and stuff like that, but they're willing to come to Boston when they're all vaccinated and stuff. And it's what was it? Cosmic Sea Turtle cosplay and Fresh Bear and Nightwing, the three of them. They're amazing people.
Yeah.
And there's so many others that I've met and stuff, and it's just there's no drama.
Yeah.
And nothing like that.
The New York City Comic-Con, the New York City cosplayer, I can talk today. The New York City cosplay community. Unfortunately, you would think during the Panini would have rallied together and
Yeah, right.
or at least would have kept chill. It's gotten so much worse.
Oh yeah.
It has gotten so much more toxic. And the Panini has afforded these people the ability to talk shit through a keyboard.
Yep.
Even more so because there are no conventions where consequences can happen. Hey, guess what? Conventions are coming back. Those consequences are coming.
Yep.
Especially from me. when it comes with a few of you. But then again, I don't hide where you stand with me like some of you people. Mm-hmm. Shady bitches. Shady bitches.
So, I mean, yeah.
I'm not, so to wrap it up, I am not upset that cons are back. I think it's too soon that cons are back. I'm still gonna go because it's a fucking con. I'm going. But I am going to protect myself as one of the people that cannot be vaccinated.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, I hope that they don't require it to go because then that will crush my hopes and dreams.
Supposedly Connecticut is.
Well,
Actually, wait. Sorry. The other thing about that is you can, if you go get a COVID test to prove that you're not. So they just got like the swab in the mouth or the nose or whatever.
Yeah, that I have no problem doing.
Yeah,
I've done that before.
Then you're good.
Yeah. Or the other reason, another thing that somebody did mention is you can have a valid doctor's note explaining why you cannot have the shot.
Okay, that's good.
Which is fine because sometimes people, the COVID test is cool and all, but it may not be recent.
Yeah.
You know, or they'll fake it and it's not real. So you have to have like a valid doctor's note. But then here's the other problem with that. And, you know, we're not going to reopen this can of worms as we're closing it. How you prove that's verified?
Yeah.
How do you prove that in a
Prove
line?
Anything is verified, though.
Like, no, but how are you going to prove that in a fucking line getting
Yeah.
into a convention when you have to speed along because you have thousands of people in front and behind you? Nope, not going to happen.
Yep.
So I don't know about y'all, but I think we're all in agreement here, the three of us, as people that have been in the scene for a while, cosplayers, photographer, you're in front of the lens, behind the lens, you know, you're an artist, you're doing what you do. I think we agree. Conventions are great. We love them. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Yeah. It's just you'd like to find like a balance so that these cons can come back in the future because again we talked about earlier they all can't but like there's no way around it. It's just at the end of the day it's time.
I think it's going to be like a pick and choose thing. At least for me, I'm going to be like very picky on the ones I go to from now on instead of going to like almost all of them. I'm just
like
gonna
we
be
used to where it was a marathon each year.
Yeah. Like every month like you're going to a different place. I think I'll stick like local to like New England cons.
I
and
don't
stuff.
disagree with you. Like for me, the farthest this year I was supposed to travel to was Katsu.
Same.
And that's not happening until next year, which is fine. This year, I'm only most likely, depending on what happens with New York City Comic Con, I may go. I might. Depends on who's going, depends on the guests, depends on the guidelines, the whole nine. Anime NYC, I already have tickets, so obviously I'm going.
That's probably the first big one I'll probably be going
Agreed.
to.
That is most likely the big one that I go to.
Just because in my head, that one makes more sense to be able to follow guidelines correctly.
Agreed. And plus, like, they're getting the cast of Demon Slayer. I need to be there.
Wait, English cast or
Both.
Oh, cool.
I think, yeah.
I know people hate the
I know
English
they
one,
announced the English cast already. I think they're really trying for the Japanese one. But again, COVID guidelines and traveling and blah, 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 blah. So.
My other excitement for when cons do come back is I hope they start having, like, you know how they have the costume contest and everything? I hope they start having mask contests.
That'd be cool.
Because, like, I feel like there are a lot of cosplayers who have, like, incorporated the mask into their cosplays, but I feel like it's not enough right now. And, like, it was such a beautiful opportunity right there. Like, have your costume match or your
mask match.
Yeah.
No, one of our friends
creative
did that.
You can do with that, and I think that's really cool. And it's still a way that you can stay safe. You know,
I agree.
I'm actually excited to make masks for some of my costumes.
Depending on what I wear, I will have customized masks for my cosplays. I will, because that's just
it just adds to it.
Adds to it. And plus, on top of that, if I'm going to be stuck wearing something on my face,
might as well be fashionable.
Might as well be fashionable. But on that note, Choco, Tony, thank you for coming onto my show. This is done, Feinics. We're signing off for the day. We'll be back with another hot and spicy episode soon. I'm not going to give you an exact date because that's just not, unfortunately, just not how things work in a panini. So on that note, we love you. We lead you. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.